Alright guys, so LF Super Janemba and LF Synchro Gauge Gogeta, which who didn't call that out, right? Have finally been revealed on Dragon Ball Legends Guaranteed. That's what's happening for Fest, right? No Zenkai kinda sucks, but what we're here to talk about is their kits, see which unit is better. I'm gonna tell you whether you should summon on either one of them, or which one's better, blah blah blah. Let's start with Janemba, who is yellow, sagas from the movies, with his Z ability being 38% strike defense, 38% blast defense, and then 18% strike attack, two sagas from the movies, and then an extra 10% strike damage to regen, which is actually good. He technically has like 3 stats that are fully capable, like normal stats in comparison to other units, so he has like 3 stat lines. That's really healthy. Alright, so strike card, right? On activation, enemy damage received 15%. Okay, interesting. Blast card, on activation, enemy damage received plus 15% again. Interesting. And then his blue card, on activation, damage 300%. Special move damage 30%, I meant to say. And then enemy key negative 80, which could be cool, you know what I'm saying? Green card, on activation, draw 1 card. Okay, combo continuation, key plus 40, damage 30%. On hit, next activated special move arts cost is negative 20. So when he hits the green card, he's pretty much guaranteed to have enough key to hit his blue card off. Interesting. And then he debuffs enemy health restore by negative 50. Okay, cool. Alright, so his ultimate, right? He draws an ultimate. Wait, is this his main? That's when you press the main, right? Am I being stupid? I'm having a brain fart. Okay, when he presses his main. No, that's when he presses the ults. Wait, so he draws 2 ults back to back? Am I being stupid? Okay, so when he presses his ult, he draws another ult, right? He gets Vanish Gauge back 100%. He gets more ultimate damage. Am I being stupid? Somebody call me out right now. Oh, wow! Okay, that's not his main ability. That's actually the ult. So his ult gives him full damage back when he presses it. Full Vanish back, right? He gets extra damage on the second ult card he nullifies Endurance with it, right? And then, if 60 counts have elapsed from battle start, he gets 30% extra ult damage, and then he gets 2 Dragon Balls from pressing the ults. That's kind of fucking annoying, no? So he has 2 chances to hit his ult, he can use it as a fucking drop and get an ult right after, and then you have Endurance null for 3 seconds after. Where you can just kill somebody with a strike card if they have endurance or something and cancel buffs, or you just press the ult again. That's interesting. So his main ability gives him the ult, right? It gives him 40 key, it gives him 40 health, all ally subcounts -5, and then destroy the entire enemy's hand. His starter ability is 325% damage, 235% damage guard, key recovery 50%, draw speed +1, he gets 50 counts of card protection just by entering the field, and then he has endurance, which he gets 40% health back from which he procs. On battlefield entry, has a unique gauge 100% charge rate, health 10%, key +20, nullified damage received by 5 counts, which is good, especially for like LF Zamasu. He gives enemy key -35, and he destroys all blue and green cards upon just entering the field. So it doesn't have to be off a combo. He shows up. If you have an AoE green card, gone. Blue card, gone. If you're fighting LF Zamasu, which is a good scenario too, right? Because sometimes LF Zamasu has that quick attack blue card. You pull out Janemba, you don't have to worry about it. He doesn't have a blue card, gone. So when on battlefield and enemy cover changes, draw special move arts next, right? Key +40, critical rate 10%, and then he gives allies a buff as well. So basically he's going to be like a support unit in that scenario. When on battlefield an enemy performs a special cover change, right? Ally subcounts a -2, and then seal enemy special move arts for 5 counts. Okay, interesting. When hit by enemy arts, right, he seals enemy Rising Rush, which is insane, because that happens all the time. So that's like Tamagami. Every time you hit him, if he comes back into the field, it resets. He seals your Rising Rush. He reduces your key recovery by -60, which is insane, and then he reduces your draw speed by -2, which is also insane. So seals Rising Rush, and he's gonna keep your combo like pretty much fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to tag out another unit. So when on battlefield, an enemy activates special move, ultimate, awakened arts, or rising rush, he heals your allies, he cancels buffs, right? And then ally subcounts -5. So correct me if I'm wrong, right? He has, okay, he does that 3 times. So if Ultra Zamasu runs out of his cancel buffs, you know, to where you can't tag him out to tank a Rising Rush, right? Janemba would give that back to him, right? He would put him in a scenario where you can pull out Ultra Zamasu again, even if Ultra Zamasu is not canceling buffs, I believe. I could be right or wrong on that. But regardless, he cancels the buffs 3 times, which is really good. Okay, so he has a time type unique gauge. Based on the number of times consumed, he gets different effects. So in the first gauge consume, right, he gets 1 card, he gets ki plus 30, damage 30%, he gets draw speed, and then he nullifies cover change, okay? Second activation, and then fourth, he gets 80% vantage gauge, right, which resets every time he comes back in. Damage on next card does 80% extra damage, right? And he has a critical rate of 40%, and then nullifies element damage received for 2 counts. So 2 counts looks kind of low, but I think Janemba's ideal is he's gonna like spam, maybe, or just, you know, not spam, but once he gets in that scenario where he's on his second gauge, you want to click a blue card just to end the combo right there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna be like element null, and if you're fighting LF Zamasu, he already builds up blue card damage as it is by a lot, right, off the green card, right? Gets 30% extra damage off that, which reduces the card cost on the blue card. He gets 30% damage by pressing the blue card, and he gets 30% special move damage, again, from pressing the blue card, and then with the 80% damage or whatever, that should pretty much like nuke anybody. And he's going to be type neutral hitting down at anybody. So if that does a lot of damage, that can be great. He has good vantage gauge manipulation. He has endurance, you know what I'm saying? He has element null on entry. I think the only thing that's going to make or break this guy is whether he does good damage and whether he can tank, like just basic things. But in terms of his kit and his usability, I think he's definitely going to provide a lot. He's going to be getting some lengthy combos on here. And he's going to be like a pretty annoying unit that's going to be vanishing a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he pops his main, he has a lot of way to get his vanish back. So, I think he looks pretty good. So, Janemba's definitely a good unit to summon on. But now, we gotta find out if Goku and Vegeta are better, which I assume they will be because, you know, it's Goku and Vegeta and it's a synchro gauge Gogeta unit. So Goku and Vegeta are green, right? And their Z ability is 38% blast attack, 38% strike defense, and then 18% blast defense, and then 10% blast damage to fusion warriors. Which to me is kind of weird because Janemba had like, what, 18% strike attack, and then he had 10% strike attack, which, you know, would be 28%. Gogeta's like in between, and then he's just randomly giving... Oh, you know, I'm being an idiot. Never mind. Okay, so he's giving 48% blast attack. Okay, I'm being an idiot. Janemba had double defense for his first 2 abilities, that's why. Alright, so, strike card with blast armor on it, right? He gets damage up on a strike card. On activation, it gives you 20% damage up. Blast cards also gets damage up on every activation. He gets 20%, okay? He has armor break. Okay. He has blast armor break on his blast cards. Okay. And of course the entire team can use it. That's fucking crazy. Special move damage, charge the switch gauge by 100% and turn it into a combo with a tag switch. Huh? I might be reading that. Okay, I think that just looks weird. I don't know why I don't know what that means, but whatever. On activation, he gets unique gauge up by 20%. He gets 100% switch gauge, and then special move damage 30%. And when it hits an enemy, he destroys 3 of their cards. Okay. Green card, 50 ki, switch gauge up to 60%. On hit, he draws 1 card, right? Cancels enemy attribute, downgrades under normal conditions, and then all ally subcounts plus, well, all enemy subcounts plus 2. So he locks in with his green card. Okay, and then when he switches to Vegeta, he gets 10% health, 10% unique gauge. He reduces enemy Dragon Balls by 1. I think he only does that 1 time, right? And his starter ability is kind of great, right? He has 305% damage, 200% damage guard, ki recovery 70%, and then draw speed plus 1. But for each member he has, he gets another 20% and 50% damage guard for members that are on sagas for the movies or Fusion Warrior. So he should have a total of 355% damage to the starter ability, and then his damage guard should be like 230%. Unique gauge, or unique ability, I mean. On tag switch or battlefield entry, he draws a card for himself. Key plus 30. He has special cover change for, 5 counts. He nullifies cover change. He nullifies damage received. You know what I'm saying? So he can come out and tank for, if he's type disadvantage for a little bit. He destroys one enemy card, and he reduces the damage from a strike and blast card from the enemy. On strike and blast arts use, unique gauge plus 5%, switch gauge goes up by 60% one time, and then when hit by enemy arts, he gets 5% unique gauge as well. Ally subcounts -1 for the entire game. So whenever he gets hit, he's reducing ally subcounts for anybody for the entire game and doesn't go away. And then all enemy key recovery, -30%. Also, if health is 50% or lower, he gets a little disrupt effect where he gets 20% health. He increases his synchro gauge up to 50%, so that should be like instant fusion, honestly. And then enemy key -100 to stop their combo, and then he also locks in the enemy for +2 counts. When on battlefield, an enemy activates special move, ultimate, awakened arts, or rising rush, ally subcounts -5, and then he also cancels buffs. Okay, interesting. So let me see, unique gauge, right? Okay, so when unique gauge becomes full, he gets 10% damage, health restoration 10%, he heals allies by 15%, and then all allies get 10% damage buffs, and that just stays for the entire time. So synchro gauge transformation, he gets 100% health, right, obviously, and then we're gonna have a complete new kit here. Let me see. Okay, so a strike card is the same, blast card is the same, blue card, unique gauge 20%, switch gauge 100%, that's the same thing, right? Yeah, okay, same thing. Is that the same for Gogeta? Basically, is that what we're saying? Wait, is this Goku's kit and then Vegeta's is different? Oh, so everything I read was just for Goku, right? And then we're gonna move into Vegeta. Got it. So Vegeta's effects are mostly the same regardless, but Vegeta gets Vanish Gauge by 70% every time he uses the green card, well, 2 times, which is good. Okay, and then his switch ability to Goku gives him 10% health, 10% unique gauge charge rate, and then he takes the enemy Dragon Ball away as well. So you can take a total away of 2 Dragon Balls away from the opponent by swapping in between Goku and Vegeta, okay? And then unique ability, right? Draw 1 card on entry, key plus 30, nullify special cover changes, nullify damage received, right? Destroy 1 enemy card, and then he also reduces enemy strike and blast card power by 15%. This is pretty much the same, and how he gets his unique gauge rate, charge, switch gauge too. When he gets hit, he also lowers enemy sub count, same thing with that. Oh, okay, so Goku and Vegeta both have separate disrupts, and if you activate both of them, right, you're pretty much guaranteed to fuse, because they both bring up the synchro gauge by 50%. So they basically have like the same disrupt kind of, like they reduce enemy key by -100, they get the synchro gauge up 50%, they heal, and then all enemy sub counts +2, so he locks in the enemy for 2 counts. And basically they have like 2 disrupts, just like any other of those, tag units who have disrupts. Okay, and then also cancels buffs, and also ally sub counts -5 on Rising Rush. Okay, same thing for the unique gauge, and now we're on to Super Gogeta. Okay, so Super Gogeta strike card is pretty much the same, blast card is pretty much the same, blue card nullifies endurance for 10 counts, and then special move damage 50%, and destroys 3 enemy cards. Green card, draw 1 card, health 10%, key plus 50, and he gets his Vanish Gauge by 70% on every green card he does. There's no limit to that. So every time he does a green card, he restores his Vanish. Also, when unique gauge is full, nullify element disadvantages, right? So he has offense, neutral, and then all enemy sub counts +2, so he has like a mini lock-in to snipe a purple unit out the way. Okay, main ability, draws special move arts next, draws up to 3 cards if hand has 3 or fewer, which is crazy. 15% health, key plus 50, Dragon Balls +2, and then he gets card protection for 5 counts. Okay. Unique ability, on fusion or battlefield entry, draw special arts. Okay, so he gets a green card when you fuse. Okay, so if you're okay, let's say you're in a scenario where your back is against the wall, right, and you can't vanish or whatever, or let's say Vegeta used his Vegeta doesn't have a green card to use to get his vanish back. You fuse, right? It gives you a green card, and then you press the green card, and then you get your vanish back. So if you're in like a 1v3 scenario and you lose your vanish, right? Gogeta, if he's not fused yet, it's just gonna give you a green card. You get your vanish back. He also gets a card for himself. He gets ki. He gets health 10%, ki plus 30, damage 30%, unique gauge charge rate 100% for one time, nullifies special cover changes for 5 counts, nullifies endurance, which is insane. So he kind of has like the Ultra Cell effect. He's always gonna like be nullifying endurance just for pressing a card, unless you activate something that cancels buffs, which you know you shouldn't have to because it's Gogeta shit hard. Nullify damage received, right, for 5 counts, destroy one enemy card, and he reduces strike and blast card power by negative 15%. After strike/blast card's use, if hand has 1 card or fewer, he draws up to 2 cards and 50 ki, which is fucking insane. So his combos are going to be long as well. When hit by enemy arts, he reduces ally subcounts by -2 one time, and he reduces enemy ki recovery, and then he also, when the enemy rushes or hits an ult, reduces ally subcounts by -5 and cancels buffs. Okay, so far, what I've read so far, he looks like he's gonna be a little bit of a problem. And we're not as unique gauge yet, so this should be a little ridiculous. So unique gauge once full gives you 30% damage, his blue card does 50% extra damage, and all arts costs -5. When enemy attack ends with full unique gauge, he reduces ally subcounts by -2, and he heals allies by 10%, and then he takes enemy ki away by -40. Okay. From what I've seen, I think the only, like, this is not really like a problem, but more so, I feel like he might have a little bit of weak defenses. It's possible that his defenses might be his only, like, thing, right? He can go elemental against Ultra Zamasu and stuff like that. But I feel like he'll be taking, like, normal damage, like, he won't be tanking and shit. Because he has multiple ways to restore his Vanish Gauge and such like that. He has multiple ways to continue his combo, like, his damage should be great, right? What is that thing he does to get 3 cards? He gets 3 cards off his main, he gets a card on entry. He's healing the enemy team. He's reducing subcounts every time he gets hit. Goku and Vegeta also both have a disrupt, so where if they activate it, it's instant fusion. Like I said, once you fuse, you get a green card, which, you know, gives you a card once you fuse on top of the green card, in which the green card also gets your Vanish back. So he could be like a really good 1v3 unit, or and such like that. I think his damage is going to be insane, because he has, what, the starter ability? His starter ability was like 350% damage if you run him with fusions, right? 350% damage if you run him with fusions. His unique gauge is giving him extra damage, right? He's buffing allied damage, right? The nullify endurance, right? The nullify endurance could be a little fucking stupid, which I'm forgetting. He has nullify endurance on just entering the field, like Ultra Cell. So anybody has endurance or whatever. Janemba, for example, like Janemba might end up becoming an issue, obviously, right? Surprisingly, Gogeta's gonna be probably one of the best units besides LF Zamasu, to take out Janemba. Unique gauge charge rates, giving himself a unique gauge easily. He goes element null in every entry on pre-fusion and post-fusion, right? He has a disrupt, destroy one enemy card, right? Reducing ally subcounts every time he gets hit. He can swap out an endurance unit to protect him from a rush at any time. He gets allies back in the field quicker. Unique gauge gives him higher blue card damage, right? And then one thing I want to see, how consistent is his element null? What did he get it from offensively again? Because his defense element null is just by coming into the field, so that's like common. Okay, so his element null comes off his green card when his unique gauge is full, which could be an issue for like ultra, like, yeah, okay, that could be an issue for fighting a purple unit, because the only time he gets his element null is off a green card when he has the unique gauge full, which the unique gauge shouldn't be hard to fill, but if you don't have a green card in that moment, then, and you're fighting Ultra Zamasu, I think he can actually, like, pit his dick inside of you and it'll probably be really bad. It's like he's really gonna rely on green cards to get his Vanish back and stuff like that. But I think his damage on everybody else, maybe besides like a purple unit, if he's not element null, regardless, would just be fucking stupid. Like he should be cranking a lot of damage here. Now, this is weird. I feel like Janemba is in a scenario where he's gonna have a better team, right? And he already has an ally, LF Zamasu, who probably hasn't been affected by either of these two, right? Who's gonna be able to be his damage dealer. Janemba's gonna be like in between, right? Who can keep the combo going and stuff like that for himself, get damage off as well. His neutral situation seems more common, right? With his gauge, because the gauge just straight up gives him neutral. Like he doesn't have to have a green card or anything like that. So gauge gives him neutral, and then like his blue card is just gonna smack a red unit in the face if he's neutral, of course, or smack anybody else in the face. He also has, you know, the Vanish Gauge manipulation, just like Gogeta. His damage might be less to Gogeta, but like I say, he should be able to keep a combo going for himself pretty easily. He has endurance. He reduces sub counts for himself, right?
Freddy Beeman 88 has become a member.
Yo, Freddy Beeman,
for summons?
Thank you for the membership. Yeah, of course you're streaming, man. He also has a good starter ability with the 325% damage. I think Janemba has the more realistic team in which teams are supposed to like be able to survive, you know, because a lot of these matches go into timers, so like your team has to survive over the other one, you know what I'm saying? He's also, what I forgot to mention, he's also sealing rush every time you hit him, so he's gonna have really good rush control on top of LF Zamasu already sealing rush, on top of 13 already sealing rush when you lock him in, on top of Ultra Zamasu having like you know, the rush block. So like PO is like very anti-rush right now. And like rush really controls how these games go. So for example, Gogeta, he doesn't have endurance, right? The functional part of his kit is pulling out somebody else for himself, right? So I'd say the only thing he has over Janemba, as far as I can see right now, is the damage, right? Janemba restores Vanish as well, so that's not really anything he has over Janemba. Gogeta's gonna have to hit like a monster truck in order to be a problem. But right, the issue with that as well is that he only gets his offensive neutral off hitting a green card. So realistically, if you're in a scenario where you don't have a green card, right, somebody destroys your green card, right, that you get with Gogeta, and you're fighting Ultra Zamasu, that's a problem. That's going to be an issue. So in terms of teams right now, unless they do something else with fusions, I feel like as of now, it also depends on how good Gotenks is, right, because Gotenks has endurance as well. He could work with Gogeta. But Janemba just has the better team right now. 13, LF Zamasu, Ultra Zamasu, I feel like they're all going to be top 5. Like, top 5 might be something along the lines of Janemba 1, Gogeta 2, LF Zamasu 3, something, Ultra Zamasu 4, 13, 5. So, like, you think about those 5 units right there, right? Janemba has way more in common, like, with them. You know what I'm saying? The team building's going to be more direct with them. So it's like he's gonna have really good control over the match with those guys already fucking up your rush. He has endurance and stuff like that. It's gonna be a really fucking hard to kill team. And he has scenarios where he can take out LF Zamasu if LF Zamasu becomes a problem. Yeah, for now, I'm not gonna say much. I do think, also, you know what I forgot to mention? Gogeta's Blast, ain't he? Where did you find this out? I forgot. Gogeta's a blast unit, I believe. Isn't it supposed to say like blast or something, or do we not find out here this early? Because the Z ability is 38% blast, or like 48% blast. So if that's the case, right, the team build obviously is going to be way better. He's ranged, so yeah, team build is obviously going to be way better for strike units, right? Like look at Janemba's Z ability. He is giving you like double defenses with 28% strike. So he's like covering everything. LF Zamasu is going to be more tanky. Ultra Zamasu is going to be more tanky. They also have the damage, you know what I'm saying? Does Janemba give support? Janemba gives 15% ally damage. He also gives support. As of now, I'll say Janemba's better. Right, you can summon either one you want. But even as a starter unit, if you were to like, if you were starting this game right now and you're summoning like off rip, right, and you're trying to build something, Janemba would be the better unit to build off of because he has endurance and stuff like that, and he has like that longevity and shit like that. and you can pretty much just go on a team, make them brain dead annoying, you can't kill it. Gogeta's gonna rely on you having a little bit of smarts, or having an endurance unit, or whatever, off rip. Or maybe if you pull Gotenks and he's good, he'll be good as well. But as of now, I'm giving it to Janemba. Both really good units to summon on. I'd say Janemba, I'm giving him a 10 out of 10. I'm not gonna hold you. Gogeta, I'll give like an 8 out of 10 until I see his damage. His damage is gonna have to be fucking exceptional. Like, it's gonna have to be insane. But outside of that, good luck in your summons regardless of what you guys summon on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'm gonna peace out for now. Deuces.